Morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. This is the 67th episode. We've been doing this since around the beginning of, or mid March rather. And the lady you've just seen on your screens there is Ami Faku, a host, like my guest for today's show, singer, songwriter, originally from Port Elizabeth and has blasted into the South African mainstream music scene, like with so much. I think if I could just see your career, the way you have come into the industry and the way you've been received into the industry, you now have been nominated 4 times now for the Summers. And it's such an honor for me to have you on the show. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for the platform. I am okay. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. And I do have to ask you though, like, are you related to the legendary trumpeter FAKU?
No, I'm not. Not Kolani Faku, not Naba Faku, not Alexis Faku. All of those Fakus, everyone keeps asking me. No, I'm not related.
Oh wow,
But I've heard about them. I'm grateful to be sharing the same surname as them because, like, they're amazing. So I
wow.
should start saying I am. I should start saying I am.
You should. Like, this is crazy because how can you have people sharing, 4 different people sharing the same name, and all of you are great musicians? So to say, that is so
Yeah,
dope.
maybe we are related.
And with Freya as well, like when because he's from Port Elizabeth as well, so I was like, nah, they must be related,
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I would love to meet him. I've never, no.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, you the first time I met you, we were both performing at Moti's Brass Night in Untitled Basement late last year.
Yeah.
I played, I think, a set before you and Mikasa, and it's been so dope seeing your growth in the industry. For me, since the collaboration you did with Sanel Musician and the smash hit in Tongawe, you went on to releasing your debut album Imali, but in 2020 you opened the DSTV MVCAs, which is a big thing, and you've been now nominated for 4 summers, and we'll talk about that more later. But I want to know your state of mind and spiritually, like, how are you feeling right now? What is your state at the moment?
Well, spiritually, state of mind, besides COVID, I'm very thankful for every, milestone we've managed to reach. At some stage, it felt like it was all impossible, It felt like it happened to certain people and it felt so far away from me. But to see that these things, they can happen, to anyone. They don't discriminate is like amazing. I'm so happy and I feel like I just want to keep on growing because like I'm so impressed within like the time. It's like, oh my god, like you actually can do so much in this world and achieve so much. So I'm excited to even like push and do more. Yeah. So I'm very thankful. I'm very blessed and I'm very pleased. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if I could just take it to the beginning a bit, like, your dad is a pastor, and I assume there was a lot of gospel music playing while you were growing up. But I'm more interested
Yeah.
on the other genres of music that you were exposed to growing up.
I was actually exposed to a lot. I listened to a lot of genres. So I loved Indian movies because of the music. I do love like reggae, hip hop, R&B, everything that has meaning and makes me feel a certain way. I listen to it, everything. So for me, a lot of inspiration comes from all these different aspects of genres, what they can do for me. That my influence comes from that. Yeah.
Hmm. And who would you say are some of the artists that perhaps you got the most inspiration from?
I would say most of my inspiration comes from I'll say church. I can't specify who, but the church,
Hmm.
does give me great influence in terms of melody. And there's really not one artist that I can say, because I don't focus on one person, and really my love is equally spread, to whoever I find can inspire me. So there's never really been one person I look up to.
Yeah, I read also in your bio that well, it's actually a post that you did on Instagram, and you said that you've been recording for 9 years, and your first producer lived a few houses away from you in the same street.
Yeah.
Um, what's his name, and are you guys still working together?
If his name is Umzuko. That's the first guy I ever reported to. And no, we're not working together. And yeah, we don't talk as often because time and growing up, you guys separate, and you don't talk as much as you did. But like, I'm aware of where it all started, and what all those producers have done to
Mhm.
to help me out. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were an accounting student at the Nelson Mandela Bay University. Firstly, did you complete that qualification? And secondly, does it has it given you some kind of good handle, with regards to finances, and in your own career as an artist?
Well, I haven't finished my qualification. I because I hated it. So I was like, I mean, can you just try and give back to yourself just 1 year, and just focus on what you love, and like forget about everything. So I was like, no, I have this is my life. I've got one life.
Yeah,
So I didn't finish that, but I'll go back. I
y-
don't know when, but I'll go back.
yeah,
But school has definitely showed me how it's built a great foundation for me, because I know how hard the kids work in school, to get qualifications. So it just makes me grateful, because it's hard in school, and I know that a lot of people get paid such small amounts, and they've got these great qualifications. And so I know I respect school. It's built a great foundation for me. And even like the modules on their own, they've done a great deed in terms of training me. But in terms of finishing, I haven't finished, but I'll go back. But I feel like school has definitely have given me a good foundation.
mm.
Yeah.
And with you deciding that you're gonna follow your passion and stop with the accounting thing, I mean, I did the same. Well, I didn't just leave. I failed terribly in my second year of engineering, and
Mm.
it was a kind of like an uneasy situation with my parents. To try and explain to them, guys. Actually, doing music for me was supposed to be for a year. It was supposed to be just like a gap year to think about what I want to do with my life, and then possibly go back and do engineering. But what has been your parents' response, or especially in the beginning when you were going into the music thing?
Um, they were so supportive, more than I was with that decision, because they believed, all the time, and I've always been the one who's negative. So my aunt even like said, you should actually do what you want to do in varsity, and I'm like, I'm not gonna gamble, because I don't know how it's gonna go. But I was just so depressed in varsity. I took it lightly. I thought it was gonna be, an easy time for me. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Doing what you don't love is not easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes it's such an understated fact. When we talk about livelihoods and success, we usually just only focus on having money, and being able to support yourself and be self-sufficient. Obviously that's very important, but it's very understated when you with the fact that happiness, no matter how much money you have, like we've seen videos and you can watch interviews of people who've reached billions of dollars, and they still find themselves unfulfilled with their lives and unhappy to a certain extent because they are not doing something that they love. So I think getting a balance of doing something that you love, and on the other side making a living out of it enough to be self-sufficient, that's the obviously the ideal situation for everybody. But to get that balance is not an easy thing. But I want to talk
Mm,
about The Voice, ne, because you were on The Voice South Africa in 2017, and I saw your opening audition, the blind audition, and oh my goodness, like in your first stanza, all of the judges had turned their chairs, right? Like everybody was just like,
yeah.
"Come, like pick me, I'll be your mentor." And I don't know if it was your mom backstage; she was tears out, so beautiful to see. But
Yeah.
what would you say are your highlights with regards to The Voice?
Um, I will say highlights are that day because it was my first time performing my audition. It was first time performing for people, so that was a highlight because I was just like breaking my fears because I've always had like I have like I doubt myself more than anything. I always speak bad on everything I do, so it was great to fight that and like break boundaries and every negative thing I thought of. I was so happy to actually perform. So for me, that was a highlight. And also just being there, the opportunity, and also being mature enough to know I'm here to learn and take as much as I can, rather than if I were there when I was 18, I would have, made terrible decisions. So I'm just happy that the time it happened was the right time. I was more focused and I knew what I wanted to do on the show. I knew I didn't want to win, but I want to make the best out of the experience. So being there was a highlight, just being there and learning. Yeah.
That's interesting that you say that you knew that you were there, but you knew you didn't want to win. Why is that the case? Or why was that the case?
It was like, I don't know, it's never really about winning, per se, because it's just about what you can do. Well, what I thought, it was just my focus was just what I can do every week, what I can take from, that was the whole thing for me. Because winning is it's one person has to win, right? But we all can have experience. So I
Yeah.
chose, the one with the higher probability.
Yeah.
I can't be stressing myself and say I want to win. No, I didn't care about that. I wanted an experience. I wanted to grow. I wanted to. I just knew that okay, here this is an opportunity, and I need to make sure I grab it. That's all I cared about. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still find yourself going through or having the same mentality, the same negative mentality towards your art and what you do? Like, does it still happen to this date?
It does, but I sometimes I've trained myself now to actually listen to my work as a third party, and then as a third party, I'm really I impressed more. I'm impressed with the work I do instead of judging as myself because I think everything's terrible that I do. So I've learned to judge it as a third party, and I'm more critical and I'm more honest. So and I'm more fair on myself. So yeah, I've learned to be less hard on myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should all be, like less hard on ourselves, cause, um, it's so easy to be so competitive that even within yourself, within your own work, you feel like maybe this is not good enough. I had the same struggles with myself after releasing my first album, which I believe was well received. For an album that was super soulful and very soft, and within the house music scene.
Oh,
At a time
exactly.
where house music in our country at that time, gom was like really big, and you were in the same kind of bowl as artists who've got high
There's
energy.
no break. It's my piano right
And come
now.
with my piano,
We
exactly.
had to drop in my piano. We were like, what the hell? What are we gonna do? So it's just like you just do your best. You're like, whatever, put it
Yeah,
out there. What are you
yeah,
gonna do? Because
exactly.
you don't know what other genre is gonna come. So
True. You can only do your best, and I think I've learned to stop judging myself and stop being hard. Still, not to say that the work should be crap. I'm a believer of the work will always be great. It has to be, otherwise it's not coming out. But just knowing that once the work is out, once I do my best to promote and get the work out there, there's nothing else for me to do with the work. It will be what it will be. And just to finish the topic about the voice, I had Zoe Mudicha on the show about a month ago, and she was on the voice on the first season. and I won't quote her word for word, but she said something like a platform like The Voice where sometimes like you get to be trained by professionals, you get to become and see how a professional artist would live and would train and get and prepare herself for performances, but also the dangers of that is that sometimes you're not prepared for when you leave the competition, because once the competition is over, a lot of artists struggle because they still have in their mind, maybe subconsciously, people helping them with their artistry, and now you are on your own. I want to know, like, from you, how did you handle or manage leaving the competition?
It was easy for me because I really I did it as I said. My focus was there to learn and grow, and my time had ended. So I didn't come there thinking I'm gonna win. I didn't have this one mindset. So for me, it was easy to leave, but it was also not that easy because it was hurtful because I was like, oh man, the journey has ended. But I made sure that I create contacts within the show. Hence I had a great relationship with James, whom I met after my elimination. I flew to Joburg. I recorded music because I was like, I need to record now music to people that are gonna, the probability of my work traveling to the right ears are high. So
Mm,
I was so grateful that I've met someone that is closer to the industry in a way. So, and the music did travel because Benza heard my music through James. So my plan was actually the right one. Like, because I knew that every time I record, I know that someone always wants to make their friend listen. So I was like, why not record, now to people that are, gonna know people in the industry. So that's what I did. So I just planned because I didn't want to depend on the show because it had to end at some point.
mm, mm.
Yeah.
And you went on to obviously sign now with Fifth Season, which is the management agency, and they've got big artists like AKA Trezor, just to name a few. And does being on an agency like that come with any pressure to succeed, or is it more of a motivator for you?
It doesn't come with pressure. I don't know, specifically for me, it doesn't, because all artists are different, and your mind is so important. If in this game, if you wanna, you know give good music to people, you have to be in the right mindset. So you can't focus on the artists that are there because they're all different from you. Their journey is going to be different, but you definitely want to have something to offer the label. And so really, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if I answered
No,
you.
no, you did. Um,
Okay.
you also on one of the most successful PR teams in Africa. The Sheila Fari PR, and
Yeah.
what exactly? Because for me, this show is really about sharing experiences and knowledge. For us, especially most especially directed to aspiring artists, and we always hear the term about having a team. How important a team is for an artist. But what does a team like, being on Fifth Season and being on your PR being handled by Sheila Afari, what do they, what exactly do these teams do for you as an artist?
They do a lot. They do a lot. Yo, the team is big because there's like two managers as well. You don't necessarily have to have two managers like me, but I'm just telling you about my team, like how important they are. There's like two managers, and who's the managers also has a finance degree, so financially she knows her work, so she's able to discuss deals that involve money pretty well,
Mm.
so that's important. um and we have Benza's really, he's like a music genius. He knows music so well, and he's able to spot talent, and he knows when a song is going to do well or not. Well, not all the time, sometimes he knows. I don't want to give him too much credit. um yeah, so, and then we have Sheila PR. so important because you need radio, you need like a newspaper. The marketing is very key. It's so important. And we have Tiz who does deals with the admin, also can sometimes, deal with management side of things. It's a lot of people. Road manager, you need that.
Mm.
You need a lot. You
Yeah.
need a lot in order to have an easy life in the industry. But some people wanna do all of that on their own. I prefer not to, because yeah, my mind is I don't have a relaxed mind. So if I can relax it by getting help, is it's something that I'm willing to do. And thankfully I have that through fifth season. Yeah.
Mm. And
But like not unfortunately, not all artists can say they have a team. They can say they have a team, but like they don't really work, so well together.
mm,
So it's not easy to find a team. That's what I tell people. Just yeah, just make sure you find the right team, but it's not easy. You'll
yeah,
definitely, you can be unlucky and find people that aren't willing to go extra miles. But yeah, you
yeah.
need a team.
But
Yeah.
if you were, to talk with an aspiring artist who is talented, and you could see that this person has a chance to be in the game, if they were to go, or if they had certain people around him, what aspects of the team, at least, like, if you can't have everything, if you can't have the big PR company and the successful management company as well, like, backing you, what elements of those teams would you say are rather some of the most important that you definitely would need as an artist?
I will say a manager who truly believes in you. That's one thing you need. Because when before I was in the industry, I remember, someone offering me, to give my work to someone else, and I was like, I don't want to audition anymore. I need someone who believes in me. So I just feel like you need a manager that really believes in you, who's gonna sell you to people, because that's important. You don't need someone who just wants, an already finished product. They need to really believe in you to the core. So a manager that believes in you, not just a manager. And also, but before all of that, you have to make sure that the music is great. So that's your responsibility as an artist, to make sure your music is great, because your manager can't sell you if
Yeah,
there's nothing to sell.
yeah.
So I feel like artists should really focus firstly more on their art before the other parts,
Mm,
because you need a product to sell. So just make sure that the product is worth selling, so that people can see that you have something to offer. So that's what I'd say. Make sure your work is outstanding. You get yourself a manager that believes in you. I feel like those two things are a great start,
mm,
and they very easy to find. Very
mm.
easy to find. Like, there's so many great producers out there that that are willing to work with any artist if they're good. And a manager you can find, but just make sure it's someone you believe in. I don't know. Those two things for
Yeah,
me are key.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, dope. And I want to talk about collaborations. Your what I would, in my opinion, your biggest collaborations in terms of reach, I would say, the one you did with Sanel Musician, as well as the song you did with Black Diamond. Super, super. And but you went on to collaborate with a lot of artists. You did something with Msaki and Zolani, and a couple of other artists, with Black Motion, Shimza, Prince KB as well,
Yeah.
Lemon and Herb. And one of my favorite stuff that you did was with Kekelingo on the song Konzane. Like, that's came out
Oh,
this
that,
year,
that's
right?
your vibe.
That no, that is my vibe. Actually, I had to stop myself from listening to the song because it's such a catchy song.
Why?
It's too, it stays in you, and I got tired of having a song in my mind. I'm like, no, it's such a dope song,
You
but
probably
like,
sing it
I can't listen.
randomly.
I told you.
That's good.
I
That's
promise you,
good.
it
That's
is.
that's great.
It is a great thing.
Yeah.
Definitely a good trait. And what informs your decisions, especially when it comes to who you collaborate with?
For me, if we connect musically, that's the only thing that determines, so if I connect with you musically and as a person, then we're good. But musically it's more important. For me, that's all. We just have to connect musically, and whatever we're doing, it just has to make sense, and just to make sense at that time. Yeah, at the time we do it. Yeah.
And are you ever conflicted with regards to um, how you where you see yourself in terms of um, the music that you do? And I'm asking because you do a lot of collaborations, like I mentioned, but you know the stuff, something that you did with Keke is so aligned to what you do for your own music. But then you also go on to do work with Lemon and Herb, which is rather on the house scene and like quite hard than what you do. It's like an Afro tech house, and you also do something with Black Motion. Are you ever conflicted with regards to where you want to be seen as an artist?
No, not at all. I'm actually doing what I want to do. Like that's my mindset when it comes to the industry. Because I don't follow rules. Even with my debut album, I define it as modern Afro soul because it just has all these elements of my personality. Because I don't want to do things the way I saw them. I wanted to do them how I feel. And for me, with music, it's definitely how I feel. But with my debut album, I definitely do what what's more like 100% me. But with other artists, it's like collaborating, and I get to explore, other parts of music that I really enjoy. Yeah.
Mm. I've got this voice note from a friend you've collaborated with, Kekelingo. If you can just, if I could just play it for a few minutes before we continue with our conversation.
Okay.
Greetings, LSG. My name is Kwekelingo, and my debut single, Konza, that features the incredible FAKU, is really a song about my spiritual journey. Konza is sung in the Kekelingo. Kekelingo is my own spiritual language that has no meaning, but it has tons and tons of feeling. And this obviously is experienced by the spirit being. Konza is basically about the day I was born in my grandmother's four-roomed house in Naledi, Kosoweto. My mom gave birth to me. She was all by herself. And as a young man, I've always imagined how I cried the day I landed here on earth. And me growing up in a four-roomed house, in Soweto, you have little limited resources, but believe you me, in that very four-roomed house, that's in the nighttime when I was sleeping, when I look into the asbestos roof, those and the four-roomed walls, I would see a world stage, and for me, that's when I started dreaming. That's where that four-roomed house is the same four-room house where I had the dream that one day I will sing, and Ntate Salif Keita is one of my biggest inspirations. I remember seeing him for the first time on TV in the very same four-roomed house, and I pointed at the TV and I said that one day when I'm older, I'm gonna be like that man. And to see Konza be out and impact and touch people's lives the way it has touched mine and healed me, it's just incredible. It's incredible, the power of dreaming. And of course I had to feature FAKU because, she's just incredible. She's just really, really, really incredible. And working with her was really a dream. Honestly, it was really, really a dream. I featured her because I knew that her voice will represent the gentleness that was of these incredible women that raised me in that very four-roomed house. So her voice really, once you hear Konza and you hear Ami's voice, that's basically the kind of voice that these women were to me. That's how my mother, my grandmother, and my sister would speak to me. So it's just really an honor, and I'm grateful to have worked with her. And that's basically it. That's Konza.
Yeah, and that was Kekelingo from the Muffins. I should actually call the Muffins for an interview. I think that would be dope. Um, so, just tell me about that collaboration. How did it come about with you and Keke?
It came about, well, he did send me the whole song, and he was like, "I'd really like you to sing on it." He really imagined me singing on it, and I heard it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is beautiful," and that's how the collaboration came about. It was quite simple, nothing hectic.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
cool, cool. And are you are you looking to do more collaborations? I mean, especially I'm asking with regards to house music. I'm a house person myself. Are you looking to do more house music collaborations? Just asking for a friend.
Well, I don't know. It's like I don't plan these things. They just happen. So whatever happens, happens because I don't like to plan. But all I'm doing is just like recording music and seeing what happens. So if someone comes with a beautiful production, then we'll see.
Yeah,
So it's like I can't really plan.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, no, I hear you for sure. And many musicians, both established and aspiring musicians, like we all go through some certain different levels of uncertainty, that comes with being an artist. Um, what would you say have been the most difficult moments for you as an artist?
It's just like being the industry, like realizing how it is, obviously it feels different for all people, just realizing how it makes me feel, the change of life, um how everything just has changed has been like one of the biggest things about just being in the industry. So adjusting to that has been difficult, but yeah, I'm constantly like trying to train myself to be happier, how to handle certain emotions because everything is a bit different. It's overwhelming, but I'm constantly trying to make myself happy. So it's not easy being in the industry at all. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
What is it about adjusting that makes it difficult to adjust to the industry? Like, if you could give a few specifics.
I would say like being known comes with a lot of things. The misconceptions around people. Um, I would also say work is difficult. Like working while you're tired because you're always tired, always working. So recording and finding content is not as easy as it used to be. So I'm a bit thankful for the lockdown because you kind of relax more and data is loading at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's not easy. It's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and your album Imali, like it has done so well. You reached gold status, and one of your singles has reached double platinum. And big ups to you for that. Um, do you have any kind of pressure now, especially creatively, to outdo your debut album?
Thing is, I don't know if it's pressure, but I just wanna do great. So yeah, so that's all I wanna do. I wanna grow, personally. I wanna be a fan of my work. So that's my plan. And yeah, I think there is a bit of pressure, but not too much to a point whereby it will distract me and mess up with, my work. Yeah. In
Yeah.
a very healthy way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of performing and performances, I mean, performance is a big thing for all artists. But
Yeah.
you when you opened for the DSTV MVCAs, I was working on the show because a part of what I do, I work on TV as well,
Okay.
and the production and prepping of for the show, it takes quite some time. It's a long time. It's rehearsals, and worse for you, it was on the same weekend where you had a sold out show at the Untitled
I
Basement,
was
And
I was tired.
yeah, I wanted to ask you
Tired.
about that period. How was it for you?
It was a mess. My voice was gone. I was tired. My brain was just. I don't miss that. That's why I'm saying I'm thankful for this lockdown. And imagine I've never experienced that because like I'm new, So it's been overwhelming, the journey. But I'm learning, and I just wanna. I'm preparing myself every journey. I'm taking something from it. So it wasn't easy. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
It was such a hard day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. Like because like I mean, when you do those rehearsals, especially for the awards, when you're rehearsing, even though you're singing two songs only, but you're rehearsing, but you're there the whole day. You know, like there's takes and things are late, and you still have to be present, but also your mind has to be focused on your show that you have. You know, and
On my
I think
show.
you had 2 days
I had
on the
two
show.
shows.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean,
It was a bad but they always happen like that. I'm so used to it, right? Like recently, because it's always that tough, it's always that difficult. It's never easy. That's
yeah.
what I mean when I say I'm realizing how difficult it is to be, in the industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and congratulations on your summer nominations too.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah, you
Thank
begged
you so
four. You
much.
begged
Thanks.
four. I mean, for your album, you begged 3 summers for best newcomer, best female, best Afropop, and the record of the year with Sanel musician. Firstly, like
Um,
the Summers, I said this to Nandi Madida the other day. She was on the show, and the Summers have. I don't think they've received as much criticism as they have this year. You know, and they always do, but this year specifically, how do you feel? Firstly about the nominations, your nominations, but secondly about the kind of criticism the Summers have received this year.
well, I would like to say with my nominations, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm happy, I'm a dream come true. So that's how I feel. And with the complaints of people, they valid. I mean, it's people's opinion, and it's a show for people, so their views are very important, and they should be taken into account because yeah, they feel like other people could have been nominated, understandably so, because they feel like they've enjoyed, that specific artist's music. Um, yeah, what can I say? I don't know. I'm not a part of that. All I know is that I'm nominated and I'm I'm happy. That's all I know. Otherwise, what's being discussed there and who was nominated? I don't know. I don't know, but those complaints are valid because those viewers are hurt because their favorite artist, wasn't nominated. So
Mm,
it's understandable, but yeah, I
yeah,
honestly don't know what to say after that. I
yeah.
genuinely don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's okay. I would also not know if I was nominated. I'll be like, I mean, like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, like I'm nominated. Anyway, you've been
Yeah.
so out of the 4 categories that you've got nominations for, ne, like if you really had to choose one, Barane, you have to take one home. Which one would be, would you choose?
Okay. Well, people were saying that I should be happy about the newcomer because I'll never be a newcomer again and all of that. But for me, I'm more about the work that I did, which is like the album. So if I would win the album, like Afropop, nominee, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hope you win more than that. You know, I honestly do. I mean, best newcomer, Afropop, best female for the work that you've done. And I mean, the smashing hit with Sanel, I mean, everybody knows that song.
Hey,
I,
the church one. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
thank you, man. I hope so too. I hope so too. Really, honestly speaking, I really hope take something. But we'll see. You never know because
yeah.
I didn't even think I would be nominated, first
Mm,
of all. So it's like I don't know what to expect, but I really hope I take something. I really hope just one.
yeah.
Nyana,
Something
nyana,
yana
a Mia award.
for sure. That would, I think that would really wrap up a good first year, if I may say, in the mainstream industry for you, But here's a question I want to ask you with regards to where I want to know where you see yourself going. You know, because I was listening to AKA yesterday. He had an interview on KFM, and he was basically talking about he used to chase, you know, the wanting to be a global superstar, if I may put it that way, like be one of the biggest acts in America or in Europe. And he says he has changed his views regarding that mainly because of what it requires. You know, like you've already said, spoke about the challenges. You know, you had to be doing an award show, but you had your own show, two shows of yourself that you had to focus on, and it's so demanding. But it can get even more demanding like that, especially if you're thinking about taking it abroad and taking it globally. Are you, is this something that you are chasing as well? Because I see you as an artist that can easily fit in on the global stage. You know, you've got a dope tone, you write very well, you're authentic, and that's what
Thank
it's,
you.
it seems like it's required, you know, for one to be recognized as a global artist. Is it something that you are chasing, and do you think you do have what it takes to chase that?
Um, I'm not really chasing that. The only thing I know I want is like people wanting to work with me because of what I do. I don't want to change because now I have to work with someone from overseas. You know, I just want them to work with me because of what I'm already doing. But I do honestly want the music to travel more and be this well-known genre, even across. But so far I'm happy because you do get like listeners who listen to your music but don't understand your language. That's already a good sign. But I don't want to break my back because I want to go international. I just want it to happen authentically and easily. Yeah,
Mm,
if it happens. But yeah.
yeah. Um, One of the things also that I love about Psyche, you know, a co-collaborator of yours as well, is that besides being an incredible artist, he's also done so much in trying to expose unknown artists, especially from the Eastern Cape. You know, with she's done a couple of shows in Johannesburg for that, and I think that exposure is such a big thing that's needed for. There's a lot of talented people out there, but mostly it's very difficult to find exposure, especially in the mainstream media. But who would you say are some of the people, whether from your hometown or anywhere, some of the unknown artists that you think are super talented and should be getting more recognition?
There are actually producers. I'll start. There's a one producer that I feel like is like super talented. His name is LT, and another one is Mr. Vintage. I really think that they really deserve to, be in the industry, but you know how the industry is. For everyone, every journey is different. It's like I can't even say you must do a certain thing because it's very difficult to get in, and it's a different journey for everyone.
Mm.
Also, Slay is a great rapper that I feel like should be out there because he's very great when it comes to writing. Um, so far, those are the three people that I can think of that I know personally that I feel like um, they from the Eastern Cape and they probably gonna be known because their talent is undeniable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And just to talk about, you know, I want to ask you about fulfillment with regards to being in the industry. And we talked about different successes, you know, that you have reached with your album, with your debut album, and different collaborations too. But what would you say has been the most fulfilling thing, or if you, even if not one thing, but if you could just take snapshots of a few things that are very fulfilling to you when you look at your career?
I would say for me, when you see how the music makes, your supporters feel, for me, that's the greatest, part of it. Um, it pushes me to do more because I see what the music does for them. And during like performances, you get people that are emotional, and you're like, oh my God, the music does really connect with them. So for me, that reaction is the number one. You when they receive your music well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw one video like you were performing. I can't remember where it was, but you were performing and everybody was just singing your song. I think it was a stadium in Buffalo City
PE
in
or
PE.
more or
Monty.
Tata or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. It was in Tata. And I was like, wow, like so some of those things when you have seen your growth performing in church and seeing yourself performing in those kind of crowds, how is the feeling, the performing feeling, the feeling of performing?
It doesn't feel real because it's like it's a stadium and these people are singing and it's like what, who hired you? So it's a, who hired you to sing this song? So I never understand. I'm always like, how did you, how, I don't understand how they know. But it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
It is,
It's
it
a,
is.
it's a, it's a beautiful feeling. I can't lie. I swear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
and with that in mind, because when you write the music and before you even perform the music, you don't really have an idea how the music will be received, and if people are gonna be screaming, out of their lungs like that. But now,
Yeah.
now you do, right? Now you've seen it. Now you've experienced it, and I'm interested to
Yeah.
find out your writing process right now. Does that play in a factor into how you write music right now? Because now it's different. You had at first you had no experience of how it would be if you get out, if the music gets out there, will people receive it?
Yeah.
But now you do. Does that change or affect your writing process right now?
Actually, I actually did check that out. I was actually looking at the music that's when I perform that everyone sings, and the common thing about them is that when I created those, I was just being myself, right? So now I'm becoming more of myself because I'm like, oh, so people like my personality musically. Because
Mm,
even with the Imali track,
yeah.
I was just like being my sad self. And I was like, actually, I was like, we shouldn't put this one out because it's a bit too sad. And I'm shocked that people enjoy that song because you see, so I know that now that, oh, okay, you become yourself more, people connect. So that's the only thing I'm doing right now. Because
Mm,
I know that if with that mindset, it just never works out. It never works out. So I know now that I should be myself more and people might like it. There's a higher chance. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And what are you working on right now? What have you been working on that's not out yet?
A lot of music. That's what I'm doing. I'm just creating music as I did last time because I didn't even know I was gonna have an album with 11 tracks. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just exploring and recording. That's all I'm doing. Yeah. And we'll
Mm,
see when the music is done what decision we make. Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm
And
just recording. Yeah.
I do have to ask you though, just getting back to the whole COVID-19 situation and the lockdown and the stress it has caused a lot of artists, if you were not fortunate, if an artist wasn't fortunate enough to perform, especially in the December period, and I can imagine that right now it's a very difficult position. They are in difficult positions, like many artists are anyway. Whether you are performing or not. Um, and how has that really affected you mentally? Are you I mean, I myself, speaking for myself, I've been at some point getting a bit anxious about performances, thinking performances are, where I've been getting most of my income, supplementing it with my work, and I've been able to
Yeah.
make a living like that. But now no one has been performing for 4 months, and I'm starting to think, okay,
4 months.
when is it
Yeah.
coming back? How are you feeling about the whole situation? What is your thinking about it?
It's draining. We haven't made money in 4 months. We're literally taking from our savings.
Mm,
So it's terrible. It's terrible. All I can say is that I'm grateful that, I'm able to pay bills,
mm,
and but it's not easy. It's hard. It's mentally draining. It's frustrating. I
mm,
can't lie. I can't even try and sugarcoat it. It's a tough time. It's
mm,
frustrating. We actually would be very happy if things would go back to normal so we can work
yeah, yeah,
because kaloku this lockdown is compromising our checks,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just don't feel like we're being considered, in the arts and culture in any case.
Mm,
I know funding was allocated to us, but I'm sure only a handful can say they've gotten anything from
mm,
that. So I can't even say there's the government is taking care of artists, and
mm,
it's sad because like we're important to the economy of this country, like super
mm,
important.
mm,
We make this country, what
mm.
it is in terms of music, because
Mm.
we make music that people listen to. So it's hard to live like this, but what can we do? Like,
Yeah,
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know.
yeah. I think it's comforting rather for me. I think about it like that. I try to choose a positive outlook to all of this. You know, it's comforting just to know that everybody's struggling. Like all
We're
industries,
struggling,
you
all
know,
of us.
all industries are struggling, and even if we were to come up with innovative ways of making income online. I was doing an online concert, I think in April, that I played on, and people were buying tickets and the sales were really bad, you know, like understandably so. Either people don't have
Yeah, because
money.
people don't even understand.
Yeah.
The thing is, people want to copy developing countries when it comes to things of this country. You can't expect South Africans to buy online tickets and tune in online when even like internet access is not,
Mm,
is a luxury in this country.
mm,
Like having data is a luxury. So these things don't really work for us. They
mm,
don't. There needs to be another plan that works for, this kind of country. And these online things, I don't think they will work well, because at the end of the day, even our culture, we enjoy being like December. People want festivals.
mm,
People want to go out and drink. It's part of like our culture, and we can't do. It's not easy for people to settle and be like, I'm gonna be online and stream, and I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Yeah, the youth can probably adjust easily, but there's still people that are much older, but they enjoy, the live element of
Mm,
music. So even that, like the online thing, the virtual thing, it's not going to be an easy
yeah.
thing for South Africa, a developing country.
it's
No.
it's not an easy thing at all. Also, if you're thinking about brands um, who are also not making money, and you know, the direct brands that are, you know, together with artists in this is alcoholic brands, you know, and they themselves are not getting any income for the past 4 months, and they've got employees
Yeah.
on, and it doesn't make sense for brands to be supporting any kind of online event, you know, when they themselves are not making any money. So the situation is really difficult, you know, but I do
It's
believe
difficult.
I do believe that at some point, nothing is really forever, you know. At some point, things will start to change again, and hopefully what comes out of this, the the communication between artists and government, I just hope that this gets better, you know, because that's all it really is. There is no communication lines between artists on the ground and the government, you know. There's such a big space with that, and I can only hope that it narrows. I've invited you know, the ministry. I've got like wild dreams, but I've invited Minister Natim Teto onto the show, you know, and there are people, when they saw the questions, they got back and like, no, the minister will address these questions in the general media and stuff like that. But I really do hope that communication lines between art ministry and artists just gets narrower. Anyway, let's not
I hope
if
so
finish
too.
on a
Let's not
on a
go there
let's not
deep.
finish on a bad mood. But I just want to say, I mean, man, like you seeing your career, seeing your rise in the music industry, listening to your music, it's authentic, you know, like one can just tell that you are a true artist and you're not even trying to force it. Like it's there, the talent is there, you're working hard as well. I can
Thank
only
you.
wish you the best in your career. So thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity. Very grateful for that. And thank you for the well wishes. And I wish you well as well in, your journey. Yeah.
Thank you.
whatever journey it is that one day you want to do, whatever it is you want to do, I wish you well. Thank you.
I mean, one of the things is to collaborate with you, but we will talk about it on the
Is
side.
it?
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk
Okay,
about it.
let's talk about that,
We'll ta-
offline. And
offline.
then, yeah, send me your stuff, dudes, and let me listen. Yeah, and today I want to listen to music,
Cool,
so I'll listen to your album.
cool. Thank you, thank you. Guys,
What's the name? Is it Lesego or what?
no,
Your album.
it's LSG. It's called Moving Circles. I'll send you a link. We'll talk after the interview. Cool, cool.
Cool.
Guys, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for watching. If you enjoyed the interview, if you enjoyed the conversation, please tag somebody in the comment section who might learn from it too. And yeah, enjoy your weekends. Let's remember to
Thank you. You too.
let's remember to stay creative. Peace
Thanks.
out. Bye.